This changed my life. I know in the initial stages when I used to teach, the results we used to produce, it's not that it didn't get into the head, it did. There was a period I used to walk around thinking that I was doing great things in life. One story and one incident changed my life. Even before we go into human engineering, I would love if this story and this incident can also transform your life. It seems a crow was flying, holding a piece of meat between its beak. And very soon it saw many other birds were chasing the crow. The further and further it kept flying, more and more birds were chasing, till it eventually occurred to the crow, they are all not chasing me, they are chasing the piece of meat I am holding between my beak. It opened and dropped that piece of meat, and as the piece of meat was falling, all the other birds went after that falling piece of meat. Alone in the sky, it seems the crow remarked, in dropping that piece of meat, I gained the freedom of the skies. The entire sky became mine. And that piece of meat in our life is our ego. We think the world is against us. We think the world is nasty with us. We think the world is hurting us. But it is actually the ego which is going through all these things. I'm not giving you a very sophisticated philosophy. I'm just sharing with you a very simple understanding. When ego comes, everything else, including your peace of mind, goes. When ego comes, everything else goes. When ego goes, everything else comes. The freedom with which you can live your life. Because as long as your ego is involved with the world, you have to live your life as if your own shadow is chasing you. You live in this eternal need to prove yourself to the world, which you don't have to. You're accountable to your Creator, not to every next stranger you cross in life. You're accountable to your conscience. You're accountable to truth. You're accountable to the magnificence with which you have been created as a human being. But we live our life in this eternal need to prove ourselves to every individual, not realizing if you expect everybody to be happy with you, you can never be at peace with yourself. Because it's impractical that everybody can be happy with you, and yet your ego puts this demand on you. So all I request is, before you realize it will be 7 o'clock and the program will be over, drop all your labels, drop all your ego identities, and purely sit there as a seeker, wanting to get transformed. It doesn't matter about the 100 ideas that gets discussed in the program. One idea, one trigger, something in this 90 minutes, let it come and hit you, and that will be a transformation, and the day is made that your life and my life crossed today. And I promise you, when I stand here, I am also standing here with a tremendous sense of responsibility. I don't think I stand on the dais of any of my programs feeling a sense of status. I feel a sense of responsibility. Almost 25 years after I passed out from school, and by then I had already built this magazine called Infinitheism. And I had this privilege of my life crossing some amazing lives on the way. So I wanted to write about all those people who impacted my life. So I had started writing a column called A Salute in Infinitheism. And almost after 25 years of passing out from the school where I studied, I had gone back to see my headmaster, who didn't know me. I was neither brilliant nor naughty. So when you are neither, the school remembers you by roll number, not by name. So it's not that he could identify me, but I introduced myself. I told my headmaster, I'm your student, and you have been a great inspiration to me on leadership. Discussed, told him what I'm doing. And then the entire interview continued. And somewhere in the middle of the interview, My headmaster, Dr. Clement Felix, narrated an incident, and I've never been the same again, and I wish it impacts your life too. He said, after I built the new chapel inside the school, and as I was walking past, I looked at the chapel and I told myself, Clement, you have done what no headmaster can do by bringing in a church inside the school. And I continued to walk with a lot of pride and arrogance. You know, we had to climb 2 flights of stairs before I reached the headmaster's room, he said. But my thoughts changed when I climbed those 2 flights of stairs. I straight walked to the altar of my Christ, went down on my knees, and with tears trickling down my eyes, I said, pardon me for my arrogance, my Lord, for me to have thought I built that church. Instead, I told my Christ, he said, the time for the church to come had come. I happened to be the headmaster of the school during that time. In fact, my prayer spontaneously was, he said, thank you, Lord, for making me the headmaster of the school at a time when that building came into existence. With or without me, thy will would have brought the church there. But thank you for the benevolence that I was the headmaster. My dear friends, ever since when I walk up to the dais, my mind is very clear. Your time for awakening had come. I happen to be the voice behind the wisdom that can awaken you. If your life and my life did not cross, you would have still been awakened with the same wisdom, which would have come to you through some other channel. So I don't stand here with any sense of status, but with a tremendous sense of responsibility, with the collective human potential that is sitting in front of me. We should not miss this opportunity for transformation. It's not about the speaker. It's about the potential life that you can live.